Hi, this is Brian from Northwest Bronco. Welcome back to the channel. I'm dumping what's left of the fuel into the tank. Hopefully we have enough for the rest of the day at least, or even tomorrow to get back to Bend. But we're going to do a little freestyling today to find some homestead sites. And the funny thing is, right where I pulled over is the site of a homestead. So I'm going to show you that first as soon as I get filled up here. And as always, I always leave a gallon of fuel in the can here in case I find someone that needs help out here. But let's go ahead and get this put away and I'll show you this homestead site that's right behind you. Now you can see that this is kind of a square like this, and it's a big one too. So I'm going to say this is where the house was. If I stand here inside of the house, this is where the front door would have been. So that would have been their view of the road as they walk out the front door. This would have been their view. All right, now that we've actually found the house, now we can look around for the other stuff. So first of all, we're gonna look for like chicken wire, and we're gonna look for a hole in the ground, we're gonna look for a bunch of rusty cans. There's the root cellar right there. So let's go down and have a look. Okay, so you can see here, this is the root cellar, and then the entrance would have been either here or there. Now we gotta find the can dump. Most of the cans are right here off to the front. Which is weird because normally they would throw their cans behind their structures or in the backyard of their house, but this one's a little unusual that all the cans are kind of thrown off to the side here. All right, so that's the story for this homestead. I still haven't figured out what this is exactly, but I don't think that's a house and it's too small to be a barn. I have no idea. Not a bad little living space, pretty close to the road, and we just kind of stumbled upon it. So let's keep going down the road. I've got a couple of roads I want to go explore, and we're going to do a little homestead freestyling. This road is just a big rocky mess. Now, there is a couple things coming up here I can see, and that is a couple of fence posts sticking up. So we might be coming up on a homestead site. So I'm gonna kind of flip the camera around, let you see what I'm seeing. You can see those posts sticking up over there on the right. That's what I saw from back there. So most likely we're gonna make a stop up here and see what we can find. Okay, the first signs of homestead were those posts there, and that fence line going there. As soon as I got out of the Bronco here, I can see there's a can right here, so that's a good sign. All right, so there she is. There's the foundation right there. This would have been the front door. You can see the whole square coming around. Not a very big one, but sufficient for, you know, small family could go in there. Okay, so now what I'm looking for is I'm trying to find the root cellar or the can dump. And usually that's going to be behind the structure. So we're going to kind of walk a big circle behind where their house was and see if we can locate those things. So that there is where they live. That was their house. That's the road right there where the Bronco is. And all the cans seem to be in this general area. But I think this is going to be where they dumped their cans, was right here in this area. All right, here's a question for you viewers out there. What exactly is this? Now I find this now and then in homestead sites, and I can never figure out what it is. It's wire, but I don't know if it's just wired up chicken wire that they stretched out and made a chicken coop out of, or if it's something they shoved in like a stovepipe or something to keep the sparks arrested. I don't know what this is, but if you know what this is, put it in the comments below. All right, it's a pretty cool site. You're standing on the road and you can see this is where they live. So their house was right over there, and then they had like a barn structure type thing here, and a fence all the way around, and then they grazed all their animals way over in that direction. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move on down the road and see what else we can find. All right, we've gone quite a few miles out, and from that last homestead site we found, I just saw a pile of rocks on the side of the road way out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and look through the binoculars here and see if it's a pile of rocks or see if it's a foundation wall. It's a pile of rocks. So that's a good sign. It means we're probably coming up on something, because it means they cleared that area for farming of some kind. So we are gonna keep going down the road, keep our eyes open, and see what we can find here. Okay, here's a good example of what I'm talking about, where I say that when you're going down the road, watch for certain things on the side of the road, because usually that will lead to some kind of a homestead site. Well, back behind us, a couple hundred yards back, I saw the big pile of rocks way out in the brush. So that means that somebody cleared an area. And then this is what I'm talking about, is when you come across something like this, and this would be either a place where they cleared the road, or it could be somebody's property line, because sometimes you'll see these in the front, and then you'll have a homestead right back here somewhere. And also that fence post right there. So between the big pile of rocks, this kind of rock wall looking thing here, and then that post, it probably means where there's something right back here, which there isn't, or there's something coming up. All right, I'm just creeping along here, and I noticed, I don't know if you can see that little rock pile right there on the left, but that looks like a corner to like a wall that's a square. That looks like the corner of it. So I think we're coming up on a homestead right now on the left here. All right, so we officially did find a homestead. We're gonna go over there and take a look in a minute. But first, I'm kind of hungry and thirsty, because it's getting towards the afternoon, and I'm getting hungry. All right, today's mid-afternoon snack is gonna be a water, a thing of mandarin oranges, which I love these, a miniature Cliff Bar, and some Skippy peanut butter. All right, here's the fun overlanding tip for the day. When you get done with your water bottles, don't just throw them in your trasharoo. Squish them down like that, then put the cap on, and it makes them nice and compact. Let's site here and see what we can find. Ooh, right now I can see a really good foundation. Let's go have a look at that. Walking up on it, it's not too big, but it's interesting. It's got some interesting features about it, which I'll point out. Oh yeah. I mean, this one you can really see the layout. So let's get into that. So this is interesting. So I think right here is where they would have, I think it was a built-in root cellar. So right here is where they would have gone in to get their stuff. And living quarters over here. All right, I can kind of put the puzzle together here on what happened. What happened is this guy has built a homestead before. And he said to his wife, you know what, I'm sick and tired of this shit. I'm not going out into the elements anymore to get your stuff. He goes, what I'm gonna do on this next one is I'm gonna put the root cellar attached to the house with a way to get in from the house, because I'm sick and tired of going out in the snow. Let's take a look around and see what else we can find. So not too far away from the house, which is there, is this here. I don't know what this is. Some kind of a little foundation for some kind of a building. This is kind of an interesting piece. Little top of the handle, got a little spout on it. Interesting. That I found potentially was left of the can dump. There's the structure right there. And right way back here, which normally these are quite a ways out, well, not too far out, but they're usually behind a structure. And this is what I found, all these cans. And these are kind of everywhere, but this is where they're kind of consolidated. So I'm gonna kind of guess that this is what's left of the can dump. This is officially my favorite homestead site to date, because the ingenuity that went into this, the amount of work that went into it, I gotta give this one 5 stars, man. These folks really knew their stuff, because that was a really good idea, and I've never seen that before. And then in the back, there's really not much else to see. I mean, you said that little tiny can dump, that weird structure back there, that foundation, some campfire pits, of course, and lots and lots of debris and cans. But, you know, it's a shame that this person or this family had to leave. Anyway, let's move on down the road, see what else we can find. All right, so on your right here is the site of an old cattle ranch that still exists and they're still in use today. So I'm gonna flip the camera, and I'm not gonna stop because people are working, but take a look at this. And there's something here that I like to stop and look at every time I go by. Now this is something that I found out in the desert here a while ago. This is in my first adventure video, but I always like to stop and look at it just to see how it's doing when I come by. It's just kind of a neat little thing out here. All right, let's head on back to the Bronco, keep going down the road. That is just the neatest thing. I love coming down and visiting this. We're just cruising up this really crappy road, and I noticed there was a couple of piles of rocks here up on the left-hand side with some sticks sticking out of the middle. So I'm gonna check this out and see what's going on. Well, now I can see why I didn't want to come up this road. It's probably one of the worst roads I've ever been on, and I'm not sure how much farther I want to go. I'm gonna go up here and see what this is real quick. So I've got one of those sticks sticking up there, and another one right there, and a pile of rocks up on the other side of this tree here. Well, this is certainly interesting. Bunch of boards right here, and just kind of a, I don't know if it's a foundation or not, or if it's just like some kind of a cellar. I don't know what this is. Well, here's looking down from the top, and obviously there was some kind of a structure of some kind, but I don't know if this is a foundation or what, but it looks like it was covered with wood at some point. Any ideas? If you know, put it in the comments below. Well, I have no idea what this is. There's really no reason to live out here where I'm at right now. There's really nothing around, but just a couple of weird markers down there by the road, and then this thing up here. So I guess we'll keep moving, and hopefully we can make it down this road, and we'll see what else we can find. This road is absolute crap, and according to my map here, it goes along for quite a while. So I'm going to creep along, and hopefully nothing bad happens here, like I pop a tire, because we're out here a little ways. I'm going to really try to finish this road and see what else we can find down here. All right, so I got to this little turnaround spot, and then this is the road past this spot. Now I got to go like another 1.5 miles, 2 miles down this road. I think I'm going to turn around here, but as I was setting up the camera, I noticed there's something weird right over here we're going to look at. So okay, so we came up to this spot right here, and there's the little turnaround spot, and there's actually a little fire ring right there. But look at that right up there. Do you see that? Big stack of rocks. Let's go check that out. Holy shit. That looks like some kind of a bunker. Oh my God. This is bizarre. All right, I'm going to leave you guys back there in some safety, and I'm going to take a look in this thing real quick. But at least, if anything happens, at least you get a nice viral video of a man getting attacked by a mountain lion. But I'm going to go ahead and do a little sweep around the outside, and then maybe I'll take a peek in the doorway, throw a rock in there, see if anything comes out, and go from there. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but there's actually a stovepipe coming up from the middle of it. I'm not going to walk on top wall because I don't want it to collapse, but there's really nothing else along the backside here, except for some reason they dug like a moat around the whole perimeter of this. My guess would be to try to deflect the water away from here, but yeah, that's weird. All right, let's throw a rock in there and see if anything comes out. Nope, nobody home. They built the front. You see there's some timber getting ready to come down up there, so. And then right in there is the doorway, so let's kind of get in there as close as we can, but I don't want to go under these timbers because I don't want them to collapse on me. So I don't know what's in there. You know, sure, I'd love to look, but everything in my body's telling me don't go underneath those timbers. There's that doorway a little bit better. It has quite a lock on it right there, but you can see the timbers everything's getting ready to come down. But in there is probably nothing but, I'm going to guess nothing but probably just some rock walls, and that's it. And the timbers, you can see the timbers up there are pretty saggy too, so we're not going in, but interesting. This is the most interesting thing I've ever found out in the desert so to this day. And just the amount of work it took to stack all these rocks, put up these huge timbers, you know, and dig that moat all the way around, stack this giant wall at the entrance, you know, that metal framed door with the huge clasp. You know, someone put some work into this. So I don't know if it was someone's fallout shelter, you know, or someone tried to live out here, but it looks to me like this is more of a defensive type thing. I don't know if they had preppers back, 50 plus years ago, but if they did, you know, this is not really that bad of a gig. All right, what I'm going to do is just take one final walk all the way around the perimeter of this place just to see if I can find anything else. And if not, we're going to hop in the Bronco, turn around, and head back the other direction and see where the day takes us from there. I just got done walking the whole perimeter up on the hill around that bunker over there and made it back down to the Bronco, and there isn't one single thing, no cans, nothing. I decided to come across the street here, and this is where I started to see some tin cans and things. Now, it might be remnants of this campsite right here, but yeah, I'm going to kind of say that this guy's smart, and he didn't put anything up there by his bunker. He threw it all across the street so people would look over here, maybe? case you guys are wondering how I'm navigating, I got this little Samsung tablet here with Gaia downloaded. So that is what I'm looking down at when I'm doing my mapping. And that is my little organizer that sits right next to me to hold all my stuff. So it's a pretty clean cab. It's hotter than shit. It's 92 degrees. So getting out and climbing those hills and checking out those homesteads and filming and is really kind of taxing, which is why I'm actually an in-shape guy, but when you're kind of elevated in the desert and it's 92 degrees, you know, you're just always out of breath. For all those folks out there that think that there's really nothing to see, you know, this is proof that, you know, there actually is beautiful spots out here to check out. All right, well, I've done the evaluation and I figured that we found a lot of homesteads already on this trip and a lot of cool stuff, and I honestly don't want to run out of fuel, even though what we're gonna do is kind of backtrack back to where we were and find a place to camp. Okay. Well, I think this is going to be home for the night. Looks pretty nice level spot here, kind of wide open around me. A little bit windy, but that should die down a little bit later. And I have an absolutely beautiful view back here of this huge, like big old sagebrush meadow in these trees. So this is going to be a really nice spot. All right, guys, good morning. It is perfectly clear out, about 6:15, and last night I slept pretty good, except for now and then the cows would start mooing, and that would kind of wake me up a little bit. But other than that, it's a beautiful morning. So I'm going to show you a view out the window, what it looks like, and then I'm going to actually I'm going to show you a little bit of what it looks like inside this tent. So there is the view with the sun coming up right there. And as far as to how much room there is inside of the solo tent, you see that, you know, I'm 6'4", 240, and I have plenty of room. You know, plenty of room for my feet and everything. And this is a nice, big, thick Wiggy's sleeping bag, so I'm never ever cold. Never cold. But even with the bag sitting right there with my clothes, I have plenty of room to toss and turn. And this bag is the exact width of the tent. So yeah, plenty of room in here.